Hola, boys and girls. It is Friday. It is time to do some squats and all that good stuff. So, we are changing up the programming a little bit. Doing my typical 5-3-1 work up to a heavy single. And then since I had a really awesomely epic squat fail on Monday, talked to my coach and he has dropped me down to triples for my rep work. So we are now doing 3 sets of 3 on rep work, and we're starting off with the weight that I failed with, which was 305. Now, that'll come a little bit later in the videos. Right now, we're just working up to the heavy single and trying to actually do something somewhat impressive. The heavy single consisted of about 330 pounds. It, again, wasn't anything absolutely astounding, but it felt pretty good, and it was solid. And been trying to work on keeping my chest up and stuff like that. A few other little things I did do. My bench press work and stuff like that, I changed it up a little bit. And I'll get to that when I get to actual bench press. You'll notice that I did change my camera angle a little bit. And switched it to a different side of the room. Not real sure I like that one. But we're working with it. It seems to be okay. Just that window kind of screws it all up. Anyway, biggest thing I noticed today was really trying to get stretched out. Having a little bit of an issue with that. I think it's basically in my ankles and stuff like that, which may or may not be due to the squat shoes. My ankle mobility was pretty good, but I haven't had to do a lot of the stretching and stuff that I used to do when I was working flat-footed. Now that I'm using the squat shoes, due to the fact that it does elevate my heel slightly. So I'm thinking that I may have to go ahead and start doing some stretching in my Achilles tendons and stuff like that, because it really freaking hurts when I start my warm-ups. Today I actually did some shoeless squats, just did flat-footed squats, probably 1 or 2 sets just to warm up and really stretch out my whole leg, basically, and I really enjoyed that. It was very nice. It sucked at first, but man, it felt a whole lot better when I actually started to work into my squats and getting into my heavier sets and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to say that the 3 sets of 3 here was actually pretty heavy. I'm surprised. I really didn't expect it to be that actually brutal, but definitely was effective. Definitely a solid workout. So, pretty happy with that. Now, moving on to my bench press here. Obviously working up to my heavy single. I did 265 for a heavy single. And then we did a little bit of extra work here that I was supposed to do on Monday and I forgot. And we did some slingshot work. Now, 265 was my top set. And I went 10% above that, which ended up being like 290, if my math is correct. I've decided that that was an absolutely horrible idea, and I should only probably go about maybe 5% or so above my top set so that I can actually get in some decent rep work, because I was only able to do about 2 reps with the slingshot at 290 pounds, and I'm trying to use that to help A, work on my lockout a little bit, and B, to just work with some heavier weights beyond what I can usually handle for a 1 rep max, and basically do some like future work, I guess is what you would call it. So I really need to, I want to get more than just 2 reps out of it. I'd like to get anywhere from 3 to 5. So going to have to not go as high up above my single as I did this time. But either way, it still was something nice to do, and if it really didn't feel that bad. It actually was nicer than what I thought it would be. The slingshot's kind of an effective tool. It really does help your lockout quite a bit. It does. It allows you to overload your lockout tremendously, because you can bring a lot heavier weight out of the bottom than what you normally would without it. And I that's kind of what I've been using it for. Mark Bell designed it, and that's pretty much what he designed it for. It simulates sort of a bench shirt, but bench shirts don't necessarily help you with form and keeping your elbows tucked and stuff like that, whereas the slingshot actually does. And it's kind of good in a way. It'll also take a lot of stress off your shoulders. So also really good if you have like a shoulder injury or something like that and you need to rehabilitate. Now, my rep work, instead of doing 8 rep sets, I had a lot of trouble with just one set of 8 the last time I did this. I ended up having like a serious grinder rep towards the end. So I dropped back to sets of 5, and I'm doing 3 sets of 5 now for my rep work. And I started with 215. That was the last weight I used when I had my issues in the 8 rep set. And I'm going to say that was probably a good decision, because basically the last rep on each set was significantly difficult. Not so much that I couldn't complete it, but definitely worth the time. Now, stiff-legged deadlifts. As you can see, I'm using straps, and I'm going to make a confession. I hated them. I haven't used straps in a very long time, and I don't know if it was the fact that it screwed up my form or what, but I felt so much weaker with straps than what I do if I actually grip the bar. It was ridiculous. Typically, you're stronger with straps, but in this case, I really wasn't. So I don't think I'm going to be using them anymore. I was trying to do it to save my hands a little bit, but to heck with it. That's what they make moisturizer and stuff for. I'll have rough hands for the rest of my life, whatever. I don't care. It's a matter of principle. I'd rather be strong and have rough hands than be weak and have girl hands. So as you can see, I ripped the straps off and I went barehanded, doing my normal switch grip here, and I felt tremendously stronger. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know if it's the fact of me gripping the bar or what, but definitely felt really strong on this. So ended up doing 2 8-rep sets on my stiff-legged deadlift, still doing the 8-rep sets on these, and definitely working on my pause. Yes, it did end up hurting my hands a little bit here. I had to let go and kind of give it a break, but I got it done. So anyway, that was my workout. I hope you enjoyed it. You know what to do if you did. And as always, until next time.
I mean, my heart's beating, my hands are shaking, but I'm still shooting, I'm still getting the